All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Paving the Way. As always, I'm Daniel Wright. I'm happy that you're here with me. Guys, today we are going to get straight down and dirty, right? As you can tell by the title, your standards don't care about your feelings. This is something I've talked about before in the past, something I feel like is relevant to talk about now as we're kind of winding down quarter three, going into quarter four of the year. And I think it's a message that everybody needs to hear. So let's get started. All right, guys, we're back. I appreciate you again for tuning in today. I hope for everybody who celebrates it here in the United States of America that you had a great Labor Day weekend. I hope this week is off to a good start for you, doing whatever it is that you're doing, and I hope you're kicking ass while you're doing it. So, guys, just to get into the meat and potatoes of what I'm wanting to talk about today, because truthfully, I have got a lot of crap to do, and I want to make sure I'm upholding my promise to you guys of getting one out here every Wednesday morning for you. But the title of today's show, your standards don't care about your feelings. We've all heard it said before, right? You know, facts over feelings, or, you know, feelings don't matter, or, you know, whatever it may be. But I want to make a point here, because if you follow sports, for example, you know, some of the greatest sports athletes there are, you know, in our time at least, and probably ones that I don't even know about, you know, your Michael Jordans, your Kobe Bryants, your Tiger Woods, you know, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, all these guys. And they're known by their teammates, by their opponents, by their peers, by their coaches, their fans, whoever it may be. They're known for being individuals who do not tolerate anything less than excellent, right? And I think that's a characteristic trait of a very solid leader. Because if you're trying to build a winning team, such as what these individuals built, or if you're trying to build a winning company, which there's a better chance that you or I is probably partaking in that activity, we have to be able and willing to build an outstanding team that strives for excellence. And with striving for excellence, it comes little tolerance of anything less than your best, right? Now, we're brought up in a society where, hey, all you can do is your best. You know, just give it your best and that'll be good enough. You know, if you tried your best, then you succeeded, or whatever it is. I hate to break it to you. It's a load of crap. Okay. Because I tell people all the time in business, you know, your business doesn't give a shit about your feelings. I've told you this before. I've told my team this before. I've told other contractors this before. Your business just doesn't care about your feelings. It really doesn't. You know, we as the leaders, we can care about people's feelings as human to human, right? Because that's our job. Our job is to care about others and to show love and concern and help others get along through that path. But when we're having to represent our business or our teams or whatever it may be, that doesn't actually care about our feelings, mine included. And one thing that I've had to learn over the years is I've had to actually be able to teach myself that the results that I'm getting right now are direct results of the actions that I've taken, right? And so when I've taken actions that are based off my feelings, the results that I tend to get, the results that follow, don't tend to be as good as the results that I take when I take actions based off the facts, when I take actions based off the standards that are set to be able to achieve these things that I'm trying to achieve. You know, and I think that, kind of like I mentioned at the intro here, you know, we're getting into, you know, winding down quarter three, you know, starting in September right now. So winding that down, and then we're getting into quarter four. And then what we end up getting into, at least in our business, is what we call separation season. And that's when people start, you know, maybe some people are starting to get close to hitting their goals. Some people are starting to, you know, kind of, you know, see like, oh, I'm going to be projecting to hit our sales targets for the year, or our operational quotas for the year, or whatever it may be. And so they kind of start to coast a little bit, right? Well, for the people like you and I, who that's not how we operate. We keep the pedal to the metal all the way through the finish line. We run as hard as we can through that end of year, through that resetting into the next calendar year. We don't let off the gas. We don't coast. For the people like you and I, our standards require us to operate irregardless of our feelings of the situation. Okay? So I'm telling you right now, we are hitting numbers in our company. We are hitting quotas. We are hitting opportunities. But if you ask our team, we're acting like it's day one. We operate like it's day one because the standards that we set in this organization do not care about our feelings. They don't care if we're tired. They don't care if we feel like we're trying hard enough. They don't care if we gave it our best. They only care about the results that we are producing. And I can promise you that your business, your team, your company feels the exact same way about you and your standards. All right? Too often, we hear the whole thing of just take it easy. It's getting to the end of the year. Oh, you can coast the rest of the time. It's all bullcrap. It's absolute bullcrap. Because as Nick Saban has been quoted to say before, he says, average people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like average people or mediocre people, right? And it's because we operate in way different frequencies. When you're a company such as like an Amazon or a Walmart or these massive, massive companies with, thousands and thousands of people, sure, there's a place for mediocre people, right? And it's typically at the bottom of the totem pole, the lowest of the pay grades, and the ones who get truthfully the crappiest jobs. But hey, if they're happy, that's up to them. I'm not here to judge what makes you happy. I'm talking about things from a high achieving standard standpoint. So you have these companies that have places for mediocre or average people. But when you're a company like ours or a company like yours, because more than likely you probably are in a similar situation listening to me here, you don't have room for average or mediocre people. You just don't. And it's nothing against those individuals because, like I previously said, if that person is happy living a mediocre or an average life, then they are by all means entitled to do so. They just probably don't have a spot on my team or your team that is expecting high achieving results. And the reason that high achievers don't like mediocre or average people and that average or mediocre people don't like high achievers is because, like I just said, you're operating at completely different frequencies. Okay. The high achievers are coming in every day with winning on their mind, and they will win at all costs necessary. They will work as a team. They will grind. They will communicate. They will go above and beyond. They'll put in the hours. They'll put in the effort. So that way their winning is absolutely 100% undeniable to anybody who may be looking at them, whether that's their boss, whether that's their peers, whether that's the people that they're in charge of and they're on their team. Whoever is looking at them cannot deny that this person is here to win. All right. And they don't like the average and the mediocres because they're kind of coming in just to do their job. Well, it's good enough. Well, I did what I was supposed to do. I did what I was asked. I checked all the boxes. Isn't that enough? No, it's not to a high achiever. It's not to somebody who's striving for excellence because that's what their standards are as an individual or as a company. And average people and mediocre people don't like high achievers because they always feel like nothing's ever good enough. They always feel like they just can't achieve it. They feel like they just can't get there and whatever it is. And you know what, guys? Sometimes that's just part of chasing excellence. That's part of chasing high standards. Because the people who are high achievers know that they will never actually achieve their full potential. They know that they will never actually achieve that level of excellence that they desire. But they still show up and grind anyways, despite how they feel. The people who are okay with being average and mediocre, they're going to let how they feel dictate the results that they get. And I can promise you they will not be excellent results. So just keep in mind as we go through these next couple of months to wind out 2024, that the results that you get, the results that you desire, do not actually care about your feelings. And if you are leading a team, or if you work on a team, or if you're part of a team that has high standards and high expectations, you better figure out how to operate within and around those frequencies. Otherwise, you're going to start feeling as if things just aren't lining up, right? Because as companies wind down years and they start projecting for the next year, which, yeah, let's believe it, 2025 is right around the corner, and we're starting to plan for the next year, and we're starting to look at our roster for the next year. And we have to sit and look at what do we need to hit next year's goals and who do we need to do it, right? It's the who, not the how, right? We know what we need to do. We know how many estimates we need to put out. We know how many jobs we need to complete. We know how many, what the average job size needs to be for our company to hit our targets. But then we have to look at the who's. Do we have the right who's on the team? Do you have the right who's on your team? Because if you don't, it doesn't matter that you know how to do it. It doesn't matter that you know what to do. If you don't have the right people to do those things, your goals will not come to fruition. Your expectations will not be met, and your standards will not be held. So if you're a leader, my encouragement to you is do not negotiate your standards for feelings. On the flip side of that, if you're a leader, you have to make sure how to communicate these to your team members to know that you as the human cares deeply about them, but the company, the team that you guys are representing does not care. And so you have an expectation to uphold. If you're working on these teams, if you're a part of these teams that have these high expectations and these high standards, you need to understand of what it's going to take for you to remain part of that team. You need to know what it looks like, what winning looks like as part of that team. And like I said before, there's all different levels to this, right? There's all different positions that are fulfilled. So you may be at an entry-level position, and you may be at a leadership level position. But either way, you need to know what winning looks like in your position in order to contribute to winning as a team. Those are things that people in all sorts of levels, whether, like I said, you're at the top of the chain or you're at the newest person on the chain, those are things that everybody has to be aware of. All right. So like I said, guys, let's go through the rest of this week. I know for most of us, it's going to be a 4-day week this week, but let's go through the rest of this week, the rest of this quarter, the rest of this year, with knowing that our standards and our expectations do not actually care about our feelings. We have to show up and we have to execute regardless of how we feel because people are counting on us. Your best version of you is counting on you to show up no matter how you feel. So put one foot in front of the other, make it happen, impress the people who you're trying to impress, prove the people wrong who you're trying to prove wrong, and let's see how the rest of this year ends up. Appreciate you guys. If you ever need anything, feel free to drop a comment, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to chat with you.